Scott. Ask Scott.
Hey Scott, this is Ken from Tennessee, and I have a question for you. My question is, if I have a business and it has a niche market already, and I was thinking about selling into that market. Well, I've just got my wife into a market, another not so niche market, but still it's kind of targeted. I want her to start selling FBA or selling on Amazon, and she will be starting from absolutely nothing. She will know absolutely nothing. So could you come up with a list of podcasts specifically for her to listen to? Now I know that you have the courses and you have the live seminars and stuff like that, and I want her to go ahead and watch one of those as well. But before then, I want her to get some information on the back end from all of your podcasts. So if you could recommend specific podcasts for someone who's never listened to you before to listen to get all the information that they need to know to get started on Amazon, what would those podcasts be? Once again, this is Ken from Tennessee. Thank you very much, Scott, for everything that you do. You have a great day now, bud.
Hey, Ken, thank you so much for the question. And I want to say first off that congratulations on yourself for being in a market and having your market picked and having your niche selected and all of that. But if we were sitting down right now, and I'm going to be honest with you, okay? I'm going to be honest with everyone listening right now. If I'm sitting down with you and we're having this conversation, first off, I would say, okay, Ken, sounds like you got yourself like lined up. You've got your brand picked. You've got all that stuff. Why are we going outside of that? And if that's going well, that is. If it's not, if you see like a bigger opportunity in your wife's, thing, or maybe that's just something your wife wants to do, I get it. But I often find people wanting to do too many things, and then it gets confusing. It gets overwhelming, right? So I would say, first off, evaluate what you're doing and make sure that you're not going to take away from your existing business. I think that's a big thing as entrepreneurs that we all do. I fall into that trap every single day with the amount of opportunities that cross my way now, especially because of the podcast. It's really opened up things that I could do that I never would have been able to do before. I have to say no to a lot of things, which is hard. So sometimes saying no or pausing something while you build something else is what you have to do. And I'm kind of telling myself that right now too. So Scott, listen to what Scott is saying right now. All right. So it's hard, but let's say that, you're kind of like dialed in and you're kind of like, you guys are doing okay. Maybe that business is going to drive starting the other business. Then that's okay too. But what I would say is, number one, you've done it already, right? So what better way than to ask you, like, what did you do? Like, what happened when you got started? Now, like you said, maybe you started brick and mortar, and then maybe you took those products that were selling locally and then you launched them on Amazon. I've seen that time and time again. I think that's a brilliant strategy. So if you guys are listening that have a brick and mortar store and you're not listing your same products in Amazon, you need to do that. That's what I would do, or any other channel for that matter. Everything that we talk about from this day moving forward is going to be Amazon / any other channels, right? Because Amazon is just one of those channels that we're focusing on. And it's a great channel to start. But I would say if we're at that point where you're like, all right, Scott, I want you to go ahead and give my wife like this advice, like what would you recommend she listen to that you've already created? And I do want to highlight something right now. Like there's been a lot of podcasts that I've created so far with things that have happened with me or other people that I've met, and things have changed, but not a lot. Even though this last, update was kind of massive, it doesn't really affect my thinking too much as far as, launching products on Amazon, because I still think it's a great platform. I just think we have to do things a little bit differently depending on what camp you were in. If you were in the camp that was like going after these very, very competitive markets and you have to give away 1,000 units to compete, to get ranked and to get reviews because you're competing in that, that's a problem. So, and I've never said that. So my strategy really hasn't changed too much. Okay. So it really comes down to, product research. That's number one. Like we have to start there. And it sounds like you already understand about a market that needs products. So that's the other big thing that I would advise anyone right off the bat is what is the market that you want to go after? That's a great place to start. Don't even use a tool right now. Just what market are you thinking about going into? So it sounds like you've already got that picked or that's already there. That is good. But now what we need to do is we need to, instead of reinventing something in that market, let's go and see what currently is selling so we can get an idea of what the market is buying, right? And then from there, we can get ideas that way, right? So I would say product research is number one. No matter if you're selling on Amazon or not, use Amazon as a tool to allow you to know what is selling and what you could potentially sell on Amazon and off of Amazon. All right. So I would say the episodes that I would go and listen to is episode 56, what I did with Greg Mercer, 161, another one with Greg Mercer. And then I'll link up a couple other ones with some more I know another one is episode 189. That's product validation and finding the history of a product and seeing how well it's doing. But I would get really, really clear on that. And I would get focused on that. And then I would move on to phase 2, which is going to be, the sourcing. It sounds like you might have already done some of that. So that's where you would come in. You can kind of give her a hand with that. Anyone else that's listening, I have a start page. That page is going to be constantly being updated. When things like this review thing just happened, I'll have to maybe update a couple of things there, but not too much. It pretty much all starts with product research, and anything that I've talked about with product research still is the same as it was then, really. You're just not going after products that are selling, 50 to 100 units a day. It comes down to finding those products that you're not competing on reviews. I need to stress that. I need to highlight that. If you're going after a product that you're competing on reviews, you're really at a disadvantage. Okay. And if you can find also products that are not optimized or ones that you can improve upon, I think that's even a more important one. Which ones can you improve upon in the market that you want to go into? So it kind of starts with the market, like what market are you going into? Understanding that market, maybe spend some time and go and do some outreach and see where your market is hanging out, and then start to listen and start to see. Maybe you already know that because you already chose this market. That's what I'm hearing. Your wife has already chosen this market, which is great. A lot of times people aren't even starting there. So I would say get crystal clear on that. Don't try to overwhelm yourself with everything else. That's why I do the workshop, okay? And currently I'm going to be doing a couple different styles of the workshop now, and I'm going to see if I'm going to continue those. I'm just going to see what people need. It's really about what you guys need that I want to be able to help you with. I was doing the 5 phases on a workshop for a while, and I'll probably still continue to do those. But I'm also doing one now that's more about what I'm talking about here, is getting crystal clear on the market and on the product and kind of like how to understand what makes a good product and a good market. Again, guys, if you guys want to register for an upcoming workshop, and you can see if there's even one that is upcoming, head over to theamazingseller.com/workshop. The time that I'm recording this, the one I'm doing is on product research and product discovery and market validation. So you can go check that out if you want to, theamazingseller.com/workshop. And that'll have the latest details on any workshop that I'm doing. I always answer any questions that I have there as well. So that's where I would start. I have a page on the podcast. It's theamazingseller.com/start. Imagine that. Pretty clever name, right? So that's what I would do. And that's really all I want to do here is get people started. And then from there, we can take that and move to the next thing, right? And right now it's, how does the whole thing work? And how do I get a product launched? And then after I get a product launched, now what, right? And that's really what I want to do. And that's what I'm doing currently myself. I'm learning, I'm pivoting just like everyone else. I've been in the online business world for a long time now, in internet years. Almost 10 years, maybe even longer. I'd have to go back and see when my first sale was made. But I've learned a lot and I've pivoted a lot. And the people that I'm meeting now, my good friend Dom Sugar, who's been in the business for over 15 years, he was online selling retail before Amazon was even thought of. Again, he's seen it all. He's pivoted along the way. And I think that's what we have to do. So this wasn't supposed to be about that. What it was supposed to be about is, where do you start? You start with those resources I just gave you. And then also it starts with identifying the market, identifying the product that can be served to that market. And one question that I answered earlier was really about like how to take that product and really position it, really make it niche down to a specific part of that market. I think that's critical moving forward as well. So hopefully this helped you. Hopefully this helped anyone else that's wondering this. But I will say that if there's anyone out there that's been at not just this business, but any online business at all, whether it's affiliate marketing through Amazon, through maybe through ClickBank, maybe it's through building a blog and getting traffic, whatever it is, understand that there's ways that you can then capitalize on that stuff. Or maybe someone like Ken, like you said, like you already have something established, you already have product being sold, you already have niche down. I would really ask myself, how much more can I scale that? And does it help us to go outside of that and build another brand, or does it help us to take all our energy and focus on the one brand that already has some momentum? So hopefully this helped. Well, hey there. Thank you so much for listening to that episode of Ask Scott. Now, that was just a highlight from one of our full episodes where I generally answer 3 to 4 questions on a podcast. If you want to go back and listen to all of the past archives of not just the Ask Scott session, but all of the full episodes where I do interviews with top Amazon sellers, people starting from scratch and building a business, if you want to listen to any of those episodes, head over to theamazingseller.com and you can find all of that over there. You can also find details there on how you can ask your own question and get it aired on an upcoming Ask Scott session and possibly see it here on YouTube or just on the podcast. All right, so definitely head over to theamazingseller.com. There's tons of resources over there for you to be able to build your e-commerce and Amazon business. So definitely go check that out. Now, I just wanted to remind you one thing before I let you go. There's a lot of information out there and some of it is really, really good. What I want you to remember is you have to not just consume the information, you have to actually apply that information. So take this information that you learned here today and apply it to your business. And this way here, you can get results. As my shirt says, I wear it almost daily. Take action. We'll see you guys.